Okay, everybody, how's it going? Tonight I'm going to try my first night painting at a place where I work in town and see how it goes. The wife is with me. We're going to do this together for this plein air adventure, and I hope it works out because I really want to get into doing some night painting, and it'll be a good test. They have some quite a few, of course, lights in the parking lot, so it's not going to be pitch black. So it'll be a good testing ground to see how I like it, what I need to improve on, that sort of thing. So I'll catch up to you on site and we'll go from there. Bye. Potentially zooming in on the golden arches over there. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to set up. It'll get a little darker and then we'll decide. Okay, this is what I got set up. I just have one of the lights on the book light clamp on thing. And you can see my dark panel. And I'm going to start sketching in the shapes to, you can see how the glow now is on the edge of that sign. So I'm going to get mapping out some basic shapes. See how this films at night, but of course I've been chasing the light a little bit, but what are you going to do? Now I'm going to work on the parking lot. Obviously I took out the dumpster, just didn't want to mess with it tonight. That wasn't the point of the exercise. And hopefully this is picking up okay at night. Yeah, I'm going to block in the pavement now at the bottom. Well, I got to say my initial impression here for my second only night painting is I'm kind of liking it. We'll get it home and see what it looks like in real life, so to speak. And yeah, kind of zoom in here and check out some details. I hope you enjoyed it. I really didn't show too much of it, but that's the way it goes. I'll do some more filming of it at home and go over some details about what I was thinking while I was painting it. So don't forget to subscribe, check out more cool videos, and follow me on Facebook. Bye. Okay, so I brought it home. First off, there's my cat. And I'm just going to film the cat for a second to build up to this. So I brought it home fully expecting it to be, oh, I know, baby, to be too dark because you're painting with artificial light outside. You put something down, you think it's too light, so you darken it, and then voila, by the time you get home, everything's too dark. But honestly, for my second night painting, I think it turned out pretty well. And here we are at home in the real world where it's going to live, and I'm liking it a lot. There's obviously some brushwork issues, nothing major. Pretty much just use a filbert for the sky, and I believe, you know, when you're going with dark colors in a painting, brushwork and the smoothness of transition is important. You can still retain a little bit of brush work, but that really wasn't the goal tonight. Tonight's goal was to see if this is feasible for me to do some night painting, and I think I really got the values. It's really what I was after. Intensity of color in the right spots, and as I progress into this, I'll work on different aspects. I didn't want to go out there. I think the mistake a lot of people starting out painting do is they try to do too much with a new subject, and I picked one thing, and that was getting the values right, and I think I achieved that, and I wasn't too worried about a great subject that I picked. This is just a boring parking lot scene at a retail complex, but I did want to capture that sort of sign there facing away from the viewer to the highway. There's actually a highway behind there, up over the hill. So I want to thank you for joining me for this adventure. Wasn't much in the way of filming. I wasn't sure how the iPad would pick up for filming at night, and I forgot to bring the other tripod. So next time if I do this, I'll make sure to get all those components. Okay, now we're going to do a breakdown of the painting since of course the way I filmed it on site was not very explanatory, and I apologize for that. But being the second time out there for some night painting for me, I want to concentrate on the painting and just get a little bit of information on site. So now we're going to go over how I achieved certain things. Of course, you saw in the beginning that, of course, this is an 8x10, and I painted the whole painting on a toned panel that was pretty dark. I'm not sure, I remember, I think it might have been ultramarine blue and burnt umber mixed together to create that tone earlier. Last month I toned a bunch of panels and toned some for night painting. So that's one way you could do it, just to give you a base to start on, rather than working on a white ground, which I think would be very difficult because some of the paint layers you put on will be translucent. So then once I mapped out this wedge here so I can start scaling things, that's when I kind of drew this in, and of course this little signage for the retail spaces that are here in this complex. I wasn't concerned with the actual subject matter. I knew I wanted to do something sort of urban, and I work near here, so I'm always looking at this scene quite often, and I like this little shaft of light here. There's a sign facing the oncoming traffic. Right up over this hill is I-95, a highway through town. So these are, of course, like Home Depot, Walmart, and that sort of thing. I haven't put in the lettering. I'll just make the lettering suggestive. I will not try to get in there and create super fancy lettering. That's not the point, and it'll look pasted on, so you want to be careful of that. Once I kind of got this sketched in and some base tones of the background tree line and some sketching in of this, that's when I struck in this white that I wanted to represent the sign that was on. And I wanted to get that in right away so that everything else can be keyed to that. Nothing's going to be lighter than that. That is the one of the focal points there. And over here, I'm really happy with how I got this. Of course, you saw in the video as I was setting up, is just getting dark. And once it gets to a certain point, the sun goes down pretty fast and the light changes. You start getting reflected lights coming in this way from ambient sources. So I really tried to stick to my original right at the cusp of when the sun went down, and soon it was just black back there, so blue-black. But memory serves a little bit here, and this was nice in here. I just did some cadmium red light with some ivory black, a little bit of blue mixture, and started working that in, mixing it with a filbert. Brushwork wise, not super happy with some transitions, but it'll work for this exercise. And of course we got the pavement here. There was a dumpster right in here that I chose to leave out because I just wanted some simple shapes and focal points. And honestly, the dumpster is really banged up, and it's kind of hard to read its structure now, so you can imagine if you tried to paint it. Plus, it just would have been too cluttered in here. So left that out, and I like how I got this little glow on the street here. There's some ambient light coming from the left over here, from a building I was sitting near. So that's what's casting some light here and lighting this up a bit. So really a nice sense of depth in here. Watching out for my edges, strongest edges, where of course the light's catching the bushes and such. So I will try this night painting work again. I really enjoyed it. Obviously I got to soften. I'm going to go and do that right now. Just kill some of that bright white. But yeah. So that's the anatomy of the painting and how I achieve certain things. Of course, working some more warmer greens in here because the light source, ambient light source coming in, striking that. Trying to keep some cooler blue greens on either side of that to have this emerge into the light subtle.
So that's it.